The European Union and the Group of 77 and China have pledged continued support for Bangladesh's efforts to ensure a smooth, sustainable and lasting graduation from the least developed country LDC category. The opposition is misleading the public over the July Charter, says the Minister for Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives. Rehabilitation of flood-affected people has begun. Speaking in Chattogram, the Finance Minister said all relief and rehabilitation efforts will continue until every flood victim is resettled. The Prime Minister has announced a government initiative to export jackfruit to China, raising fresh hopes among jackfruit growers in Ghazipur. Vegetable and egg prices have increased due to supply disruptions caused by continuous rainfall, while prices of chicken and fish remain unchanged. Under the influence of a low-pressure area over the Bay of Bengal, local cautionary signal number 3 has been hoisted for the seaports of Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Mongla and Paira. Heavy rainfall is likely to return across the country from Sunday. US strikes on Iran continue for a 6th consecutive night as tensions intensify over control of the Strait of Hormuz. And Argentina will take on Spain in the FIFA World Cup final at 1 a.m. on July 19. Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is News at 10 on BTV News. I am Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui. You just heard the highlights. Let's move on to the details of those and other stories. European Union, EU and the Group of 77 and China G77 have reaffirmed their support for Bangladesh's efforts to ensure a smooth, sustainable and permanent graduation from the least developed country LDC category. The assurances came at 2 meetings at United Nations headquarters in New York. The meetings were held between Commerce Minister Khandakar Abdul Muqtadir and Head of the European Union Delegation to the United Nations, Ambassador Stavros Lambrinidis, and Chair of the Group of 77 and China, and the Permanent Representative of Uruguay to the United Nations, Ambassador Laura Dupuy-Lezere. During the tour, the Commerce Minister was accompanied by State Minister for Planning Zunaid Saki, Economic Relations Division ERD Secretary Mohammad Shahriar Qadir Siddiqui, and Bangladesh's Permanent Representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Salahuddin Noman Chaudhry. During the meetings, the Minister explained the rationale behind Bangladesh's request for a 3-year extension of the LDC graduation preparatory period, citing the country's ongoing economic and political transition, global economic uncertainties and energy challenges. The Minister reiterated the government's commitment to strengthening governance, improving the financial sector, expanding infrastructure, enhancing domestic resource mobilization and creating an investment-friendly business environment. The needed additional time would further help consolidate reforms, address infrastructure constraints, strengthen industrial competitiveness, and ensure that Bangladesh's LDC graduation remains smooth, sustainable, and reversible, the Minister added. Ambassador Lambrinidis commended the government's commitment to good governance and sustainable development, welcomed the launch of discussions on a Bangladesh-EU Free Trade Agreement FTA. Side by side, the envoy reaffirmed the EU's continued support for Bangladesh's LDC graduation. BNP Secretary General and LGRD and Cooperatives Minister Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir today alleged that opposition parties were misleading the public over the July Charter, reaffirming the BNP's commitment to implementing it in line with its election manifesto if elected to power. Addressing a memorial meeting marking the 6th death anniversary of former Dhaka University Vice Chancellor Professor Emazuddin Ahmed, chaired by former Dhaka University Vice Chancellor Professor Anwarullah Chaudhry and the Jatiya Press Club, the minister rejected claims that the BNP was unwilling to implement the July Charter. He said the Charter clearly stipulates that the elected government would implement it in accordance with its election manifesto, adding that the BNP remained committed to both its 31-point reform agenda and the July Charter through its proposed implementation framework. Referring to the proposed referendum, Fakhrul Islam Alamgir said the BNP had not been consulted on the proposal and had never agreed to proportional representation in the proposed upper house, alleging that the Reform Commission had incorporated the provision without the party's consent. On constitutional issues, he said the BNP favoured amending the constitution rather than rewriting or fundamentally reforming it. The minister claimed that the BNP had introduced major democratic reforms in the country, including restoring multi-party democracy, replacing the presidential system with a parliamentary form of government, and enacting the caretaker government provision. He further alleged that some opposition parties were using the July Charter as a political tool to gain power and making sensational statements to mislead the public. Defending the BNP against criticism, Fakhrul Islam Alamgir said millions of party supporters had faced politically motivated cases and forced disappearances and killings during the movement against what he described as fascism. Calling for national unity, he urged all political parties to uphold liberal democracy and work together to strengthen the country's democratic environment. The government has taken a major initiative to officially export jackfruit to China. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman recently told Parliament that the government has adopted a comprehensive plan to facilitate jackfruit exports to the Chinese market. Mentioning the growing popularity of the Bangladeshi jackfruit in China, Prime Minister Tariq Rahman said the fruit would soon be exported through both public and private channels. A memorandum of understanding was signed during the Prime Minister's recent visit to China under the initiative. The announcement has sparked optimism among jackfruit growers in Ghazipur. Jackfruit of Ghazipur has recently been acknowledged as a genetically identified product. Ghazipur produces jackfruit on 9,125 hectares of land. Welcoming the government's export initiative, local growers called for the establishment of cold storage facilities and jackfruit processing factories in Ghazipur to reduce post-harvest losses and increase export opportunities. Finance and Planning Minister Amir Khusro Mahmood Chaudhry today said the government will continue its relief and rehabilitation efforts until all flood-affected people are fully rehabilitated. He also said around 7 lakh people have been affected by the floods in Chattogram, with more than 1 lakh already receiving relief assistance as rehabilitation efforts continue. He made the remarks while distributing relief among flood victims in the Potenga area this morning. Rice, cooked meals and dry food are being distributed among the flood-affected people, he said. The minister also noted that the floods have damaged many roads and instructed the authorities concerned to expedite repair work, saying restoration activities have already begun. After distributing relief in Potenga, the finance minister left for Chandanaishu Upazila. Later in the day, he is scheduled to distribute relief among flood victims in different parts of Chattogram, including Shatkania, Lohagora and Bashkhali Upazilas. Agriculture Minister Mohammad Aminur Rashid has said rice seeds and seedlings will be given for free to the farmers in Chattogram and 5 other districts whose seed beds were destroyed in the recent floods or are still underwater. The minister inaugurated the program by sowing transplanted rice seeds at Dohajari in Chattogram today. At that time, 100 local farmers were given rice seeds for free. The minister said the government has taken up programs to vaccinate 1,52,000 cows in next 15 days. program has also been taken to construct 2,000 mini cold storage at union level across the country to ensure fair price of the products cultivated by the farmers. 2 crore 70 lakh farmer cards will be issued within 3 years for the benefit of the farmers, the minister added. Later, the agriculture minister visited data input program of Chattogram for distributing agricultural farmer card. All the marginal and mid-level farmers will be provided with agriculture card. A delegation led by Laura Tombond, Chief of Mission of the International Organization for Migration (IOM), met today with Mahdi Amin, Prime Minister's advisor and spokesperson for the Prime Minister's office at the Prime Minister's office. The meeting focused on strengthening migration management in Bangladesh, expanding opportunities for safe labor migration, and enhancing cooperation to ensure the protection of migrants. During the discussion, Mahdi Amin emphasized the importance of expanding new overseas labor markets for Bangladeshi workers. Mahdi Amin also highlighted the need for coordinated efforts to increase opportunities for sending skilled workers to Middle East and other emerging international markets, improve workers' skills, and develop a workforce that meets the evolving demands of the global labor market. He also stressed the importance of creating more opportunities for women to work abroad through safe, secure, and dignified channels. Several days of continuous rain have reduced the supply of vegetables, pushing up the prices of most varieties over the past week. The price of eggs has also increased. However, the prices of fish and chicken have remained almost unchanged. Consumers are paying more not only for vegetables but also for essential items such as onions and garlic. Traders said heavy rain has flooded vegetable fields in many parts of the country and damaged crops. They also said the rain has disrupted transport, reducing the supply of vegetables to the markets and driving up prices. The Bangladesh Securities and Exchange Commission (BSEC) has announced a series of reform initiatives aimed at restoring foreign investors' confidence, bringing quality companies into the stock market, and upgrading the market to international standards. The BSEC chairman said that the phased implementation of these initiatives would help make the country's capital market more dynamic and sustainable. The chairman also said steps have been taken to increase market depth by listing fundamentally strong and well-performing companies on the stock market. At the same time, the Commission plans to expedite the initial public offering (IPO) process, expand the bond market, and modernize the trade settlement system. The BSEC chairman further said that initiatives have been undertaken to promote digital transformation within the Commission's operations. According to him, the implementation of these reforms would further gain the confidence of both domestic and foreign investors and provide a sustainable foundation for the capital market in the long term. And now, international news.